Welcome back to AlphaCars and Motorcycles. My name is Ian, and today we're taking a look at this brand new 2022 Royal Enfield Meteor 350. It is in the stellar red colorway. It's a very nice color. It even has some metal flake in it. So in this video, this is going to be an in-depth look. We're going to talk about the, may I say, stellar warranty that these bikes come with. Also, some general specifications, operation, and at the end we'll talk about some of the cool accessories we offer as well, so you can make the Meteor your own. Here at AlphaCars and Royal Enfield Boston, if you are not local but you're still interested, we arrange transportation, so feel free, give us a call, send us an email. Just because you're not local, don't think that you can't purchase from us. So with all that being said, let's dive in. As I mentioned, first let's start by covering the factory warranty that this Meteor comes with. Right from Royal Enfield, it comes with a 3-year unlimited mileage factory warranty. So let's just step back for a second and think about that. Imagine all the fun you can have on a motorcycle in 3 whole years with no mileage cap on that factory warranty. So it's really going to be worry-free excitement during that time. And other motorcycle manufacturers, they really struggle to match that. At least what I've seen, most manufacturers at most will give you like a 2-year warranty, but a lot of them are only 1 year. So that just really tells you how Royal Enfield stands behind their product and the design and build quality. And even once your Enfield is out of the warranty, you're still going to be riding worry-free because these bikes are so well built, so robust. We sell hundreds of these a year, and we barely see any comeback for warranty concerns or issues. I personally can't think of the last time we had one in for a warranty issue. So as you'll see in this video, the fit and finish, like I mentioned, the design, these Royal Enfields are really European quality machines. Now let's talk about the beating heart. It's a 349cc single overhead cam, 4-stroke single cylinder. It is fuel injected. So behind our nice chrome cover here, usually where our carburetor would be, we have a throttle body and a fuel injector. So very modern fuel injection setup. These start very easy. The fueling is very refined. A lot of modern bikes, unfortunately, the fueling is not very refined, so you get not great throttle response. You can get some kind of misfires or kind of hesitation or stuttering under certain circumstances. And these Royal Enfields, specifically this 350, very smooth, very responsive. Royal Enfield really dialed it in, and even today, it's a cold New England day, and when I brought this bike outside, even in the 30-degree range, it just starts right up with no problem. So no worrying about fiddling, with a carburetor, having the choke just the right amount, none of that to worry about. So this produces 20 horsepower and 19.9 foot-pounds of torque. So it's very adequate, very fun and kind of spunky bike to ride. And it is a 5-speed gearbox, and it is air and oil cooled. So we have this nice looking little like heat sink, heat fins on the header, and these nice cooling fins on the cylinder as well. And then of course, the oil circulating around will help keep it at a safe operating temperature. And we have our sight glass down there so we can check our oil. You will get around 80 miles to the gallon with mixed riding, depending on your riding habits, of course. So with there being a 3.96 gallon fuel tank, pretty much a 4-gallon tank, you're going to have many miles to get out of a tank and not worry about fuel stops or, maybe running out of gas somewhere remote or just somewhere far if you decide to go on a cruise. Talking about the weight of the motorcycle, 421 pounds wet. So a very manageable amount, especially for the size. And what I mean by the wet weight is that's ready to ride, so that's filled with fuel, oil, brake fluid, all required fluids for operation. So that's the actual weight you do want to know, because that's what you're going to be actually maneuvering and riding, whether in a parking lot, stop sign, etc. So don't be fooled by a very low dry weight, because the bike still has to be fueled up and filled up with everything to be able to be used. Now getting on to the brakes, this Meteor does have standard ABS front and rear, and the front rotor is a 300 millimeter disc with a 2-piston caliper, and our rear rotor is a 270 millimeter disc with a single piston caliper. And both of the rotors are drilled, as you can see, very high quality. They stop this bike no problem. They're actually kind of very grabby and responsive. The front, nice looking alloy wheel, by the way, that's a 19-inch, and our rear alloy wheel is a 17-inch. So this Meteor, with the suspension and the tire size, it's a very nice comfy ride, which is what you want on a cruiser like this. Now, I'm gonna flip the bike around. Due to lighting, I've only been showing you this one side. Now that we're on the other side of the Meteor, the rear shocks are adjustable. The preload is adjustable at the bottom right here. So depending on if you're gonna take a passenger or have luggage, you can bump up the preload on those accordingly. And check this out. The Meteor's on a center stand. These come with a center stand as standard, which is awesome in my opinion. A lot of modern motorcycles, especially ones that are, much more expensive than this Meteor, don't come with the center stands anymore. And it's really such a useful and safe thing to have. So it makes things like chain maintenance very safe and very easy. So we can see here, I can just spin my rear tire to be able to clean and lubricate my chain when needed. Also set the chain tension, whether you have to remove a wheel or tire down the line to change a tire. It's just a very convenient thing to have. And even storing the bike, we can see on a center stand, it is standing straight up. So storing the bike, it makes that more efficient use of space as well. And don't forget that if your bike doesn't come with one of these, usually they're hundreds of dollars to buy, and if you're gonna pay someone to install it, it's hundreds of dollars in labor as well. So I just really like that Royal Enfield decided to have a center stand on the Meteor. Another notable mention, let's take a look. We have a heel toe shifter. It's very comfortable to use, and it works very good. It's very smooth. So operating that 5-speed gearbox, you've got your choice there with the heel toe shifter. Now, let's talk about the seat and the seat height, and then I'll get on it and I'll show you the controls, and we'll start it up in just a minute. Really, really comfortable seat, and even for our pillion, nice backrest here. This backrest, if it doesn't come with one standard, then we do offer that as an accessory we can install, but this specific color does come with this backrest as standard. And the seat height is only 30.1 inches. So I'm 5'11", and when sitting on this, I've got a nice bend in the knee, flat-footed. It's just a very, very comfortable thing to be on and not intimidating. So, whether you're getting into riding or you've ridden many years, it's just a very pleasant motorcycle to ride without having any worries of like getting your foot down or being kind of tipsy if you're at a stop sign or a stoplight, kind of on uneven pavement or something like that, where you might experience that with a taller machine. And now I've got the Meteor at a nice angle to show you the controls and the dashboard. But first, let me just flick the dashboard on. And let me show you the rear taillight. It is LED as standard. It looks very cool, and it is very bright, especially the brake light is very bright. So I did just want to mention that with the design of these, the rear taillight maybe isn't the biggest, but it is very, very bright, brighter than maybe a bigger halogen one. So I do like how Royal Enfield did that. And now we're on the Meteor, so let's check out these controls and the kind of general operation. So first off, obviously on the left, we have our shifter. So we have this nice heel toe shifter, as I had shown you. And we have our rear brake. It is positioned very nicely, very comfortably in this nice cruiser position. Starting on our clutch side, we obviously have our clutch. We have our low beam, which is always on. Flash to pass, you push it in, so it is incorporated in this switch, and then high beams to the left. And we have our blinkers, no self-canceling, so just make sure to cancel those when you're done, and then our horn. And usually where the flash to pass or momentary high beam would be is back here, but instead this button controls a couple of our functions on our dash, which I'll show you in 1 second. On the throttle side, we have obviously our throttle, front brake. Once again, we kind of have this three-way switch situation. So we have our run, kill, and then start. It's all incorporated in one, so that's cool. And we have hazards as standard. So to turn those on, first you do need to turn the ignition on, and then we can flick our hazards on, and then you can actually turn the ignition off, and they'll stay on. So once again, a very nice standard feature that Royal Enfield has added that, once again, you know, maybe some more expensive machines don't have as standard. So I just really like what Royal Enfield has done with their new lineup. So we can hear that electric fuel pump prime when we flick our key on, and we see everything start up. So checking out our dash, right now it's on our odometer. We have a fuel gauge which kind of sweeps all the way over to this right side. We can see the F for full. So I love fuel gauges on the modern motorcycles. There's no looking in your tank or going by mileage. It's just a nice fuel gauge like your car has. So I appreciate that. We have our time, and then we have our gear indicator. Right now we're in gear 0, which is neutral. But if I click into 1, we can see very responsive, goes right into 1, and then into 2, and then back to neutral. And then we have our respective battery, check engine light, and ABS light if those need to be used. Let me start it up for you and just show you how quick and easy this thing starts with the fuel injection. So the ABS light will stay on until you roll forward a few feet, as the ABS sensors have to get a signal from the tone rings as you move off to make sure it's working correctly. So that is normal to stay on until you roll away, as I said. Let me just give it a couple revs for you. These 350s honestly sound very, very good. In my opinion, I think they're a blast to ride. They're very kind of torquey down low with very good throttle response. As I mentioned earlier, Royal Enfield really has the fueling, the tuning on the engines really dialed in. And I did forget to show you, let me just turn this back on. Using our button right here on our clutch side, this will take us from our odometer to trip A, trip B, and then back to our odometer. And then when you're on your respective trip, to clear it, you just hold that button down. So we can see, I'm just gonna hold that button down, and then our trip B will reset in just a few seconds here. And then we're good to go in respects to that.
And something else I forgot to mention is Royal Enfield's Tripper navigation system. That's that little pod that I'm pointing to on the screen right now. For 2022, they are standard on the Meteors, but as of 2023, they are not standard anymore, so you do have to option one from the factory or find one that's already been optioned. But this connects with your phone, and via Google Maps, it sends, turn-by-turn navigation to that little pod. So don't expect to see a map on there, but it will tell you, the distance to your next turn and to go left or right, that sort of thing. So it is a cool feature that, like I said, on the 2022s, it is standard, which is why this bike has it. Now, let's move on to talking about accessories and some closing comments.
So as we admire this Meteor one last time, let me walk you through some of the awesome accessories we offer. And keep in mind, if you're not local to us, we do ship these accessories right to your door via our online store, and that will be linked in this video and in the description. Starting off, we have things like a rear luggage rack, Jivvy panniers. We have various windscreens. We have kind of smaller ones all the way up to more tall touring style ones, depending on the level of wind protection you'd like or the look you're going for on the bike. Same thing with the engine protection bars. We have various selections, small ones all the way up to bigger ones that are going to be more noticeable, but will offer the best protection in the event of like a tip over. We have an LED headlight bulb. It is an H4 bulb, and that is a very cheap and easy upgrade to increase the light output of the factory light, which those do make a big difference with the light output. And we do have a video linked to that part. If you check out that part on our online store, we do have a video on that listing which will show you the light output comparison, so that's very cool. And then if your Meteor didn't come with a backrest for your passenger, we do have the kit to install that as well, but we can see this stellar red one does already have one. With all that being said, please check out our website, alphacars.com, where you can find this Meteor for sale. This is available at the time of filming, so if you're watching this in the future and this isn't available, I'm sure we'll have other exciting inventory in stock or shortly arriving. So feel free to give us a call or an email so we can help you find the Royal Enfield for you. Please leave a like on this video. We really appreciate your support, and we can't make these fun and exciting videos without your support. So like I said, we do really appreciate it, and it does not go unnoticed. And consider subscribing so you stay in the loop with all the latest cars, bikes, and parts and accessories we have to offer here at AlphaCars. This has been Ian reporting from our Boxborough showroom, and until next time.